Oceanside for the U.S. Soccer Development Academy U-16.
"32 clubs came to Oceanside for the U.S. Soccer Development Academy U-16-17 playoffs, and today only 8 remain on the line. A spot in the semifinals in Kansas City next month, as our quarterfinal match is the Seattle Sounders, the number 2 seed, taking on the number 26 seed, Crew SC Academy. But Crew has already dethroned the number 1 seed, FC Dallas, on the way through Group F to reach these quarterfinals. They are looking for another upset here today to reach the Final Four. And Sebastian Berhalter, such an important part of this midfield. The U-16 international is brilliant in the center, a real playmaker with an eye for the killer pass. The Seattle Sounders, the number 2 seed, have scored an astonishing 130 goals, including 15 over the 3 group games in the playoffs as they storm to the top of Group C. And for them, Marlon Vargas, he has 20 goals in 32 games this season. It's a part of a very, very dangerous attack for the Seattle Sounders offense that can hit you in so many ways. So it's the Seattle Sounders taking on Crew SC Academy. The winner advances to Kansas City for next month's semifinals, and we're bringing it all for you right here on USSoccerDA.com. The kickoff coming up right after the lineups and the playing of our national anthem. We're getting set for the kickoff here in the quarterfinals of the U-16-17 U.S. Soccer Development Academy playoffs. Mark Serba alongside Danielle Diavanzo. And Danielle, beautiful day for soccer and 2 tremendous teams in Seattle Sounders and Crew SC Academy.
It's an absolutely gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky that you can see in anywhere in this distance. Both teams are phenomenal. Both teams have players that we've seen being called up with the national youth system. Both teams looking to punch their ticket to the finals in July.
So after 90 minutes plus extra time if needed, and maybe even penalties, one of these teams will be heading to Kansas City next month for championship weekend. Still have to navigate this match, and these 2 teams did meet in the GA Cup, and it was a 0-0 draw, the only time Seattle Sounders have been kept scoreless this entire season. What do the Crew need to do today to make sure that they can keep them off the board again?
What they need to do is just stay strong defensively, especially in the middle of the field. They do not want to afford to lose the ball because Seattle will like to keep possession, kind of lull you to sleep, and then look for that penetrating ball forward to hit their targets up top and use their speed and athleticism, as well as the skill from Vargas and Diaz and a couple others that you know are capable of scoring. And that's the danger with Seattle. They can score from almost anybody on this field. You look at different players. The last 3 games building up into this, 3 different players had a hat trick in each game.
Good look at our referee for this afternoon, Matthew Thompson out of Mississippi. He's being flanked by the AR1 on the near side, Sarah Cortez out of Cal North. Colin Nisco is the assistant referee 2 on the far side out of Washington State. And Jaime Padilla in between the benches as the 4th official out of Cal North. So we are getting set for kickoff. It's the Columbus Crew who will get us underway. They'll be attacking to your right. The Seattle Sounders in their white and blue alternate kits will be attacking to your left, as it's the winners of Group F in Crew SC against the winners of Group C and the Seattle Sounders. Crew SC did already dethrone the number 1 overall seed in FC Dallas on match day 1. Can they do the same here in the quarterfinals against the tournament's number 2 seed as we are underway from Oceanside? And right away, Horton lays it up off top. And it is Seattle who will overtake. As you said, Danielle, 15 goals in their last 3 games here in the playoffs. 130 goals in just 36 games overall here in the DA. And have yet to be kept off the board in DA play this season.
That, and when you look at their target man up top, Alex Diaz, he scored 25 goals in 27 appearances with both this team and the U-19 team. He's a player that right now is on a hot streak and is looking to continue scoring.
Speaking of hot streaks, Crew SC Academy are on one themselves, 6-0-2 in the last 8 games. Navigated Group F with a 1-0 win over FC Dallas. That goal coming in stoppage time. Then had a 3-3 draw with LA Galaxy before winning on the final day to advance to the quarterfinals 2-1 over Chargers SC. Seattle coming in off a 4-1 win over Concord on match day 1, then a 6-1 thumping of Sporting KC before finishing off Pateadores in Group C 5-1.
What's interesting too with the Crew is that their leading scorer is coming off the bench. Samuel Sarver has been coming into the bench, or coming off the bench in the second half, each game coming in, or the last game, excuse me, coming off at halftime. Prior to that, coming in at the 67th and 69th minute, and he leads the team in scoring with 3 goals in 3 games.
And Sarver, like so many of these players, playing up in their age group, something that both of these teams really stress. So many of these players have already trained with the MLS sides. And so they're used to these high-pressured situations, as it's one in the midfield by Chifamba. Promptly gives it back, but there to overtake for Crew is Wolf. Tries to leave it back off for Chifamba. Horton comes in to help keep it for the Crew, and this is Berhalter. Almost able to weave his way through, but going the other way is Vargas. Slides it inside, and this is Serrano. And the offside flag is up, so even though Diaz rolls it in the net, it will not count. But good, quick passing combination by Seattle, and Diaz just a step on the wrong side of the defense.
Exactly. There's that little pass up into the midfield, build up, quick little 1-2 combinations, and Diaz just got a little bit too excited seeing that gap and stepped just a second too early.
The Crew 18-19s won yesterday, and they're in the semifinals. Now the 16-17s trying to join them. Have to deal with this attack of the Seattle Sounders today. So it'll be a throw for the Rave Green, and it's Drought to take. He'll get it back. Malone gets it over to Bernie. Danielle, I love the fact, and I've seen this with not only these teams, but so many teams throughout these playoffs, even in these high-stress situations, they're committed to building out of the back.
That and just trying to stay composed, and again with the wind, as I mentioned yesterday, it's really picking up even more today, I feel like, and that's where a lot of those balls that you'll see try to play over the top, it's going to be hard. That has to be a driven ball, just because the wind, if you loft it, it's going to take off.
Well, you think the wind's picking up more because you chose not to wear a jacket.
Oh, that's not the reason. You know it's getting a lot worse than yesterday at this point.
Into the space for Vargas. Has a step on Wolf. Vargas had to turn away from Wolf. Is he able to get in front of him? And the Sounders will hit the reset button. This is Kingston. Gets it back for Malone. Malone has already started 3 games for S2 in the USL. Over to the far side, trying to slide it through is Bernie. But instead, it's the Crew trying to find an opening down the far side. And it's off of them last. It'll be a throw-in for the Seattle Sounders in the 5th minute of play. In the middle for Berhalter. Check that, Wolf. This is Berhalter on the ball. Now Chifamba will get it back. As you said, for the Seattle offense, 3 different players with hat tricks. Vargas in the win against Concord Fire on match day 1. Diaz had 4 goals on match day 2. And then Chavez had the hat trick on match day 3.
And Ocampo Chavez is another player that, when you look at the Seattle bench, they have such huge depth. And the past 3 games, you've seen every player has been getting good minutes into this whole type of playoff tournament.
A correction, it was Vargas with 3 on match day 1, as we'll get back to that in a second. One at the top of the box. It was Diaz with the hat trick on match day 2, and it was Chavez with 4 goals on match day 3.
Another offsides there. It looks like Diaz once again, the ref catching him off guard. Curious to see if that was indeed offside, as I'm not sure if he had it and timed it right, but referees thought otherwise. So again, Diaz has put the ball back in the net twice, but have been called back for offsides both times.
Horton trying to spin. Malone gets it back to Haraka. That one hanging up in the air. Falls for Vargas. He's dispossessed by Hall. Hall loves to get forward and does it to great effect. We'll have to stop and bring it back this time around. Lemcool. Good composure from Coons as he steps in. Floated to the near side for Hall. Hall has space to get the cross off, and it will be the first corner kick of the game for Crew SC.
There's a Crew there with the great build-up, just keep switching the point of attack until they can penetrate forward. And as you mentioned, Hall likes to get in, penetrate forward, and try to get that cross off. Unsure there if he maybe could have played it a bit earlier, but he was still able to get the corner, which is huge for them right now, to be able to try to get something off a set piece early in this match.
So it'll be Berhalter to take the corner. It's an outswinger, doesn't beat the defender at the near post, and Seattle can break. Well, he run against the entire defense, and it's won by Hall.
Great takeaway by Hall there to slow down Diaz, who looked like he was just going to take off.
That will be a foul against Lemcool.
It's one of those there as a player. You see that Vargas has got tons of space, and he just committed the foul to slow the play down, give his team the opportunity to reset and stay compact as they have been so far.
A few groans from the Crew bench as that foul was called, but it will be Seattle's free kick. Bernie. This is Malone. Kingston. Drought getting forward. Crowded out by 2 Crew SC players. And Kingston almost was able to smuggle it through, but the loose ball comes for Hall, and Hill got it back to his keeper. Marusik. Hall trying to play it inside. That's a good job coming back by Wampler. Coons. Hall setting off once again. Gets it inside for Wolf. Wolf trying to swing it to the far side. Vargas did well to get the block in. Off for Robles, just beyond his reach. And that pass too heavy for Hall.
Say both plays there, the ball was just a bit off or had too much pace on it. The other one got dispossessed again. Great defending by the Columbus Crew so far to stay compact. And what you notice too is once the Sounders have the ball for about 2 seconds or so, they've got 2 players at least surrounding them, and they're trying to just squeeze the ball out and then quickly penetrate forward with the quick transition.
This is Berhalter. He'll pull the strings in midfield for this Crew side as he gets it out to Hall. Berhalter wanted it back in the gap. Instead, Hall goes all the way over with it to the other side. And this is Coons getting forward. Oh, good job by Coons to keep the ball. Eventually, it's wrestled away from him. And Marusik will come over to take. Marusik uses the safety valve in his keeper. Hansen. We watched him on match day 1 in that incredible 1-0 win against FC Dallas. Sarver scoring in stoppage time. And Hansen made some huge saves to give him a chance to get to that late dramatic winner. As he denied FC Dallas time after time again with some smart saves and some highlight reel saves as well. Picked off by Wolf. Near side Hall. Has Horton ahead of him. Well, Hall go back with it. Danielle, we talk about the fact that every back or side pass allows a defender to get set, but every back or side pass also gets another player into the attack.
That, and you see the Crew are just looking to switch it around until they can go forward, and there's a mistake there that almost cost the Sounders a goal early.
Drought into the channel. Oh, it's a great idea from Robles, but it's cut out by Coons.
Great read by Coons there to see the ball, track it, just get his body behind it, and not allow that ball through in for Diaz.
This is Hansen. Oh, and he almost gave it away. It's a good pass by Coons in for Chifamba. Chifamba, U-16 international, has already trained with the first team. It's another player who's playing up Chifamba. Scooping header away. Wampler. Wampler wins the free kick for the Crew. 12 minutes gone. What have you seen so far, Danielle?
Right now, I feel like both teams are just trying to feel each other out, see what style they're going to give. Both teams having a lot of high pressure on both sides of the ball, where you see right now even Diaz coming back to pressure. Well, the Columbus, you see they all kind of get behind the line except for Horton, who's hanging up a bit higher, and he's making these runs in, trying to exploit the gaps. But so far, you're seeing the Crews just kind of settling in, both teams moving the ball. Can they get one team more tired than the other? And I think you're going to see goals start to give up later in this game.
This is Lemcool spinning. He's committed to Cornell, Lemcool. And there's that ball over the top looking for Horton, but it's cut out only as far as Wampler. Good hold-up play from him. Wolf drives it to the far side for Bigby. This is Jalen Bigby. Bigby motors towards that end line, now cuts in. Back to the end line and winning the second corner kick of the game for Crew SC.
There it is again, the outside backs pushing up, and you see as they push up, looks like Lemcool's the one that drops in behind, so they've got their three backs now looking like Marusik, Coons, and Lemcool, and instead you've got Hall and Bigby pushing up and adding more numbers into the attack.
Well, now Coons and Marusik will get forward for this corner kick in the 14th minute. The in-swinger from the far side. This one right to the penalty spot, and it's thumped clear.
Point is one of those when you're a player and you see the danger, just boot it out, give our time to reset, forcing them to now come back at you and get your shape right away.
Lemcool will leave it off for Marusik. Forward for Wolf. Gets back from Chifamba. That's Hall taking off down the near side again. That pass rolls beyond him, and it will be a throw in for the Seattle Sounders. Taken by Connor Drought. 33rd appearance of the season for Drought. Thrown for Hall. Coons. Diaz giving chase. Hall looking for options. Bodied off the ball by Vargas. Inside for Robles. He's brought down. And this will be a talking to for Sebastian Berhalter. Good refereeing by Matt Thompson early.
I think it's one of those, that play where they're just trying to slow it down, you know. Let them come at you with a free kick. At least we can get numbers behind the ball rather than letting him go right away and try to exploit that transition play. And here's the replay again where Holt's trying to come back, and that is a great win by Vargas, being able to use his body, shield him off the ball, and keep his balance enough to keep the ball in play and then go the other way.
Kingston whips in the free kick, and the wind brought it all the way through to Hansen. I have a feeling on a different day that might have died right around the penalty area, and something could have been on for the Sounders.
Or at least would have been further away from Hansen in that one. Hansen, though, doing a great job again to read the ball, spinning off, coming back towards him, and getting himself in position, not giving up a rebound with the strong hands.
Silky skill from Berhalter. He's able to get it back to Marusik. One back by Seattle, as Chifamba, who overtakes in the middle for the Crew. Coons will get it out wide. Bigby. Marusik did well considering the pressure that he was under, but it will be a throw-in for the Sounders. The high press paying off. Trout wants to take it quickly. Now we'll have to wait for his options. Gets it all the way back. Malone. Bernie, who scored a goal in that 6-1 rout over Sporting Kansas City, gets it back to Malone. Into the middle for Kingston. Slots it through for Robles. And smartly held on by Serrano. And he'll get it out wide. The space is open out wide. Thought that ball could have been played a bit quicker there, but it does get there. However, Columbus able to close it down, and Seattle will have to go all the way back with it.
That too, and you saw Robles making a couple runs in, trying to get the ball more central to go to goal. But you saw he opted to go wide. Now they're just resetting again. Can they move the ball around and find the gaps to go forward?
Vargas clips it in the path of Drought. It's Diaz who comes over to take. Back to Vargas. Played in, took a deflection, swept clear. Only as far as Atencio at the top of the box. Atencio spins, gets a half yard of space. It's Atencio. And it's whiskers wide.
Atencio there with the composure to be able to, under pressure, just cut the ball back and forth. One of those where does he want to use his right foot and he wants to come back to his left, or did he think he had the better shot with the left to try to fake out Hansen? Still a lot of good pressure right now we're seeing with Seattle, trying to finally get into that final third. There's replay again there. He cuts right, tries to beat him back to his left, get him off his heels. Just a little bit wide on that shot, though.
This one will bounce in for Hansen. His head coach, Andreas Engelmark, saying that he has really improved in his second season in the Development Academy. Intercepted by Kingston. Kingston trying to slot it through. It was just beyond the reach of Diaz. That was very close to being 1-0 in favor of the Rave Green.
That's a great little ball through there, trying to get Diaz with his speed again, cutting around that back line, finding the gap through. Just a step short, unfortunately, and again, good read by Hansen to come out and smother that ball.
Diaz has had the ball in the back of the net today, but the offside flag spoiling the occasion. Vargas clips it across, space at the back post, Hansen comes out. It's the opening goal for the Seattle Sounders. And it's time to celebrate.
Great build-up play there. Again, Vargas doing the work, being able to put pressure high. Great ball across, all the way across the box. We got right there, Vargas again. Quick little flick with the outside of his foot. And there he's finding Sereno wide open, left on that far post. It's one of those where you're defending. You always want to remember that weak side ball, or weak side player making the run in. And again, Vargas putting in the work, wins the ball again. Quick little flick outside of the right foot. Sereno able to control that ball and just place it into the opposite corner to beat Hansen for the early 1-0 lead.
19th goal this season for Serrano. The U-17 international has the Seattle Sounders in front. drought. You felt in the last few minutes, Danielle, that the Seattle Sounders were just starting to seize the initiative, and they have their goal.
Felt like they were just turning up the pressure a bit more, and they realized there, can we get the ball to the left-hand side so Vargas can just keep putting in the hard work, winning that ball, and being able to, again, keep the composure. He's able to penetrate forward and just find those gaps. You notice that he picked his head up, saw Sereno just out of the corner of his eye, wide open, and just flicked it all the way across the front of that Columbus line without them realizing it was coming back away from them. And Sereno with the composure again to just settle that ball and place it into the opposite corner to beat Hansen.
Second goal of the playoffs for Serrano. And it was a really composed finish with Hansen flying at him. Not really much the goalkeeper could do there. Inside for Chifamba. He'll spin. It's Marusik to bring it out of the back for the Crew in the 22nd minute. Seattle are a goal to the good. Columbus trying to do something about it. Wolf. Hall. Lemkool. He's dispossessed. Robles. Forward for Diaz, who split the defenders, and a great job getting back by Coons.
Great defensive positioning by Coons there, being able to cut Diaz off, use his body to shield, and allow his keeper to come out and pick that ball up and smother that play completely. And the other side, Intencio being able to pick off that pass and go forward quickly. You're seeing Seattle's kind of pushing back a little bit, not pressing as high as they were previously. They're letting Columbus come into the middle third, and that's where they're trying to get numbers behind the ball quickly and just waiting to intercept a pass or force a mistake before going the other way.
Berhalter. Chifamba eludes the pressure and gets it back to Lemkool. Slid inside for Wolf. This is Chifamba. Keeps it on this near side with Hall. Has it poked away from him. Kingston unable to slide it through. This is Berhalter. Wampler. And a free kick called for a challenge behind the play. I think Wolf rather ran into the Seattle player, didn't mean to. Or as Berhalter rather came over just to make sure he was all right. And Berhalter being told no more by referee Matthew Thompson. Matthew Thompson out of Mississippi. Take a look if we can see, yeah, just came in late on Kingston.
Looks like as he was jumping in, he was turning more so just to see the ball, not really any type of malicious intent in there, but just came in late, and you just got to give the call from that angle as the referee sees it.
Played over the top. And it'll be the first corner kick of the game for the Sounders.
And on that play there, just clear the ball out of danger once again. Let your team regroup. At that point, you had two players coming on you on the other side. Diaz hanging out near the front of that goal. And you had the player chasing it down on the other side, which maybe have been Robles or Sereno. I didn't catch that number there, but he's just coming in fast-paced. Just clear it out. Give your team a chance to regroup and head this ball away.
It's Robles' corner kick. Center backs are in the mix. It's poked back. Vargas trying to get on the end of it. His shot is blocked. Berhalter going up for it. And this will be off of Berhalter last. It'll be a throw-in for the Seattle Sounders in the 25th minute.
So it looked like Chifamba was trying to do a bicycle kick clearance with that, but it just went too high up rather than back and away from danger. Now you've got Seattle already in the attacking third with another throw-in. Columbus right now just needs to resettle and focus on keeping their shape and not allowing this Seattle team to find those gaps. They were doing really well early on, being condensed and not allowing the players to penetrate through the middle there. You know, there's only three ways you can go around a team, over, through, or around. Why not force them to go around?
This is good build-up from the Crew. With the move Peters out as Malone steps in. Well, there's the one over, and it's Vargas. Hall does well to get back, but Vargas will keep it for Seattle. Bernie. It's Montana on the far side.
Good defending there by the crew where you saw that ball over the top. Vargas had a lot of space, and they were able to adjust quickly, get behind the ball, and force him all the way to the middle, switch it the other way, and now they're able to, again, to force the Seattle team to now make the mistake so they can win the ball back with a throw-in.
And I know that ball by Malone went over the head of Montana and out of bounds, but how high did he climb up to almost get that?
Unbelievable. Although then again, I'm short, so anything high up there, it always impresses me when people can jump to win those balls.
Lemcool. This is Hall. Turns on the Jets. Twisting, turning. Leaving it off for Wolf. Back inside for Hall. Oh, lovely bit of skill from Hall. Gets the end line. And it's off of him last, so it'll be a goal kick for the Seattle Sounders. It was good defending, not allowing Hall that step to get the cross off.
Especially with Hall's speed, he is so explosive with the ball and without, but really with the ball he's so explosive. So Seattle, they're being able to get behind the ball, and even with that great run by, it looked like Kingston, was it, who made that? No, I'm sorry, check that. That quick little run there, though, being able to try to combine. Yeah, Wolf, thank you. Being able to try to combine with Wolf. Just unfortunate, though, they couldn't get that cross off or try to get more central to try to get a better scoring opportunity.
Tyler Wolf playing up from the 15s. There's 13 goals total this season, 6 of them coming with the 16-17s. It's a little touch on for Vargas. Skips around Hall. Into the channel. This is Drought. Drought cutting inside. Still on here. Vargas steers it to the far corner, and Seattle have a 2-0 lead.
Vargas there again, he's putting in the work and he is able to reap the rewards from that one, where after he makes all that run and plays the ball in, he sits back and just waits for that back pass, that drop pass. And Diaz again being able to hold the ball, recognizes he's got an opportunity to lay it back, and Vargas just had a lot of time there. And a great run in from Drought to come in. Diaz holding the ball, lays it off inside the foot, in swinger. Nice, easy finish for Vargas there.
And you nailed it, Danielle. I was just going to say Drought coming all the way up from his outside back position and then getting into the box. And that's what started it.
And again, that replay there showed you that as Vargas is seeing the ball, he's just trailing behind, sitting in, waiting for that back pass option, being an option to go back if need be. And Diaz head up, recognizing, hey, let me play to my teammate here. And he had all the time in the world to finish that.
$17 goals now in these playoffs for the Seattle Sounders. And they're looking for more as the high pressure continues. Lemcool. Chifamba unable to play out of it. Atencio steps in. Berhalter. Hall.
Now here comes the mental side of the game where you're down 2-0. How do you stay settled? How do you focus on what you can control, which is your touch? You know, can you control that? Can you control your passes? Those type of things. Seattle, on the other hand, I know they're one of the younger teams, and you see that even with a young squad, they have some veterans such as Vargas who play a huge role in keeping the momentum going and showing the younger guys that this is the type of effort that you need and the work ethic that you need, and everybody follows suit.
Bernie. Montana is making the run in the channel. Opens up the space on the inside. This is a good run in from Serrano. Drought joins the party. As Vargas looking to run again. Back to Atencio. Tigerish work to win it back. Atencio skips away. This is Kingston. Atencio. Another U-17 international for the Seattle Sounders side, Atencio. Oh, it wasn't a bad idea. It was well cut out, though. Seattle's combination play, a joy to watch.
There, and you see there Vargas pinching inside and allowing that room for Drought to be able to come up and get into the attack like you've already seen today. And Atencio being able to use his size to hold on to that ball and keep control and just kind of pass and move, be that stable centerpiece in the midfield right now.
Past the half-hour mark in Oceanside, and the Seattle Sounders are 2 goals to the good in the U-16-17 quarterfinals. A spot in Kansas City up for grabs. Tyler Wolf looking for his options ahead of him. Too far ahead of Horton. A great job by Atencio to come back and win it for the Sounders. So Atencio into the middle for Diaz. Just a bit too far in front of him, but Diaz so close to making it 3-0. All it required was a touch.
You see there, he's given a point, recognizing a great ball by Atencio, the right idea, just unable to connect with it. And you saw as Atencio had the ball and he's penetrating forward, he's looking for that ball in across to Diaz, and Diaz just missed it.
That was perfectly placed behind the back line, but far enough out that Hansen had to stay on his line.
So that's the type of ball you want. You're hitting that gap between that center back and that goalkeeper, and you're forcing Hansen to make a decision there. Do I come out and smother it, or do I sit back, wait for that second ball in?
Chifamba has room to run. He has a go, and it's blocked by Malone. This is Wolf. Little touch off for Hall. Hall into the box, sends it in. Chifamba brings it down. Played back to Chifamba. Wolf sets himself up for a shot. It's charged down. Ball deflects out to Hall. Hall puts it back into the mix. And the header! And they've pulled one back! Philip Horton climbing highest. And it's his second goal of the playoffs, and it's a big one as it gets the Columbus Crew back into these quarterfinals.
That is a huge goal for Columbus Crew right now to regain some momentum here. And again, you saw Hall all game coming up that right flank, looking to try to serve a ball in. He did it once, recycled it, did it twice, and you saw Horton was able to get up and redirect that ball just underneath the bar and able to beat Haraka for the first goal of this match for the Crew. Huge game changer for them. Let's see how they're able to carry this momentum, and on the flip side, how does Seattle respond?
That was a beautiful turn by Wolf, and he'll get it back. Hall getting forward again. The U-16 international gets it back. And Marusek will play it to his keeper. Well, you understand why he's been called into the national team, Noah Hall. His ability to get forward like that. It was a great ball played across. And here he is again, sliding it inside for Wolf. Wolf will drill it to the far side. And this is Lemkool. Little touch off for Coons. Chifamba comes back to receive. And Vargas sneaking in to take it away, but it's won back by Coons. Looking a bit more direct now, the Crew. Wolf slid it through the legs for Berhalter. He tried to smuggle it through, looking for the run of Wampler. But now it's Seattle who are on the back foot. And it'll be a throw-in for the Crew on the far side.
And you see already, now that Seattle has a 2-1 game versus 2-0, and they're starting to put higher pressure back up on the ball again like we saw initially when they were able to score early on. At this type, though, they're looking to say, where's our line of confrontation? Right now they're sitting back in because they're looking to try to win the ball back and come out, but you're seeing some of that more high pressure, again, from Vargas especially on the other side whenever the ball is towards that middle line.
Well, the break could be on for the Sounders. Vargas. Far side, this is Serrano. Unable to cut inside Coons, and Coons will take it out wide. Into the space for Chifamba. Well, how about that for a piece of skill from Bigby, and he wins the throw-in. The audacity to do it in that type of a space, that tight of a space. And then the ability to pull it off as well. So this one smartly nodded back by Lemkool to his keeper. Hansen quickly rolls it out wide. This is Maruzic. Long ball looking for the goal scorer, Horton. Maloney steps in and punches it away. Montana. Come back around to it. Kingston. It's Malone. Drought. The Seattle Sounders will hit the reset button in the 37th minute. They have the 2-1 lead, but it's Horton who pulled one back just a few moments ago for the Columbus Crew to make it a new game here in Oceanside. When it all seemed so comfortable for Seattle, the Crew have responded. But this is Seattle trying to reassert their 2-goal lead. It's Drought getting forward. Hansen comes out, he spills it, but it's popped out of bounds by Robles, and it'll be a goal kick for the Crew.
Yeah, Hansen there just trying to punch that ball away, and Robles, you saw, could just sit in, again, making those under runs, trying to hold that ball and just try to one-time it. Just unfortunately, his hips were a little bit too wide, and that's where you saw that ball come in. And Drought, again, getting involved into the play, looking for maybe a back post option. Hansen punching the ball away, and Robles just trying to do something and put it back into play, and especially with Hansen out, trying to see if they can create something out of that moment.
Atencio wins the header. Then Atencio flies onto the loose ball. And it'll be a free kick for the Sounders. Kingston. Drought's forward again. Drought's continued his run. This is Connor Drought. Hansen saves it as near post and smothers the rebound.
Hansen coming up big, making himself look larger than life, being able to once again make that save and quickly get on top of that ball again, not allowing Drought to try to make something out of that rebound.
Hall. Final 7 minutes of the first half. Flick back for Vargas. Arrows his way into the box. Still going Vargas. And 3 Crew players conspired to win it back, but the clearance is only as far as Atencio. Atencio steps up and somehow slides through the masses. He puts it into the danger area, cleared out. Only as far as Vargas. Vargas weaves his way to the end line. This is Vargas! And somehow it stays out, but it will be a corner kick for Seattle, their second of the game.
Atencio and Vargas both showing off their footwork there, and even prior to that, you see Robles with a little heel flick back to keep possession working it around, and the Crew again being able to just get that ball out of danger and see if they can reset, get themselves composed again, and try to win the ball on the first time in. Well, I know a lot of teams will say that they always don't want a second ball when they get the first one out.
The corner kick curls all the way in for Mitchell Hansen. The Powell, Ohio native will roll it off for his center back. Coons will get it forward. Hall. This is Berhalter. Unable to skip by Vargas. And there to mop up was Drought. Good shielding from Chifamba. And he'll win the free kick in midfield. The Crew have shown their ability to pass the ball around, but they've also shown that they can be direct when called upon. It's Chifamba switch. This is Jalen Bigby. Raccoons. Forward for Horton. And that'll be a free kick.
And whenever Columbus is trying to go direct right now, a lot of it you see, it looks like the Seattle defense is sitting there kind of baiting them to play that long ball in. And then whenever Horton does attempt to try to win that long ball, you see there's 2-3 guys surrounding him. So you see Columbus has had a lot more success when they've been able to keep possession and build up into the final third rather than just trying to go direct.
Inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. Lemkool. Hall's asking for it on the near side, and Lemkool obliges. Space to run. Hall picks his head up. Slides by a challenge. I'll turn again. Vargas has the inside track on him. Well, they wanted a foul, but they'll retain possession, Columbus. Lemkool. This is Berhalter. Hacked clear, only as far as Chifamba. Hall on the near side has the assist on the Crew's lone goal. Hall was unable to play it through the legs of the defender, but it's won back by Berhalter. Rusick trying to shake Diaz, and he runs out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Sounders. Good defending from the top by Alec Diaz.
Yeah, and you see that there's coaching crew of Columbus Crew calling, asking why that wasn't a foul down near the corner there.
Diaz dances his way through. He has a go. It wasn't far off.
What a bender there by Diaz. Just unfortunate for him. It didn't drop a little bit sooner, as you see here. He cuts around, picks his head up, and tries to bend that with the inside of his foot. Looks like it just did not drop quick enough for his liking.
Seattle subs getting limber. Columbus trying to work out of the back. 43rd minute. 2-1 Seattle leads. Goals from Serrano and Vargas in the 19th and 28th before Horton pulled one back for Columbus in the 35th. And it was this man who led the charge and played in the cross for Horton's header. Chifamba. Hall. Hall gets around Kingston. Is being watched by Drought. Hammers it off of Drought. Third corner kick of the game for the Crew. Can they steal the equalizer before halftime?
Great work there from Horton to check back in, hold that ball, look wide. Hall again, just coming up that right flank, and great effort by him to get a corner.
And now it's Berhalter's coming over to take. Chifamba's coming in short. Berhalter has to beat the first defender with this outswinger. And he does, it's through. Horton got a foot on it. Pops clear. And it'll be a throw-in for the Crew as we head into the final minute of the first half, plus whatever stoppage time deemed necessary by the referee.
Not sure if Hall was looking for Horton maybe on that ball, or maybe the wind just took it away there. But that's another idea there where they're trying to go direct, and I feel they are doing a bit better job when they do be able to possess. And you see they have the capability to keep the ball, look to keep switching the point of attack until they can try to switch the field and exploit the empty space quickly.
This will be a long throw from Montana. Big B Skies to win the header. Montana will do it again. Enrique Montana gets it forward. Serrano able to bring it down. On that one, pinballing off the head of the referee, and it might work out here for Seattle. They run out of room on the far side. And it will be a throw in for the Crew. 1 minute of stoppage time. Is there a chance for the Crew to fashion one more attack? Poked on for Vargas. He tried to lift it through for the run of Diaz. Instead, it's the Crew to go the other way with Berhalter. U-16 International chips it forward. Well bought down by Wampler. Rather played it behind Berhalter, though. Vargas was unable to bulldoze his way through. Hall. Chifamba. Hall. Good outlet ball from Hall into Chifamba. He's close down and he'll win the free kick. The movement off the ball has been really good from both of these teams.
Oh, it's a lot of fun to watch. You see the third attacker making a lot of different runs, creating spaces with that, because now every time a player is making a run off the ball, you're forcing the defense to make a decision. Do I follow? Do I stay? Do I pinch in? Do I push out? What do I do? And that's really key for both these teams right now. And just, I'm sure U.S. Soccer Development Academy has been really stressing that type of movement off the ball as a next level type player.
Well, the keeper's off his line. Falls for Chifamba. Swept clear, and that will do it for the first half. Seattle raced out to a 2-0 lead from goals from Serrano and Vargas, but then Horton pulling one back on a header 10 minutes before halftime, and it's all to play for as we head into the final 45 minutes. Thoughts on the first 45, Danielle D'Avanzo?
This has been a lot of fun to watch. Both teams have a great possession style. For me, I think the Crew, if they can get their transition a bit quicker, I think they'll have more success in being able to exploit those gaps with Seattle, especially from the mid to the back line. Seattle, on the other hand, we know they like to have that high pressure. It's just a matter of how long can they keep that up. But we do know they have a deep, deep bench, so it'll be interesting to see the adjustments made at halftime and further into the second half, how those bench players are able to come in and not only add more energy and momentum, but we know they've got each team has got at least one scoring power in their back pocket.
45 minutes down, 45 minutes to go at the half. It's the Seattle Sounders 2, Crew SC Academy 1. We'll be back with you on USSoccerDA.com after the halftime break.
right, looks like we got power. How's that? Perfect. To the right. That's not spinning. Oh, too far. Right there. And down a little bit. Good. Clear.
Sebastian, let's go, Tyler.
45 minutes remain between Seattle Sounders and Crew SC in the U-16-17 U.S. Soccer Development Academy quarterfinal. A ticket to Kansas City on the line for championship weekend next month. And it's the Seattle Sounders who are in the driver's seat with a 2-1 lead, but Crew SC looked very close to finding that second goal. It's been a very, very fun first 45 minutes to watch, hoping for more of the same from these two sides in these final 45 minutes, plus extra time if necessary.
Well, as you mentioned, the last time they played each other, they went into a penalty kick shootout. So we'll see, can the Crew come back and tie it up and force an overtime, or will Seattle be able to keep their momentum and secure this win?
It'll be a throw in for Montana. Over the top for Serrano, score of the first goal for Seattle. Darts into the box. Spins around, has a step on Wampler, puts it in on the ground, and it's 3-1 Seattle. 23 seconds in, Seattle have restored their 2-goal lead. Well, there's your answer, Danielle.
They came out with their foot on the pedal, went high flying, and Serrano there with a lot of great little quick 1-2 cut footwork, plays the ball across, and Wampa had the time to just take a touch, settle, play at the opposite corner to beat Hansen to make this a 3-1 game. There's again the quick cut in, hesitates, turns, picks his head up, sees the ball, the space there, plays it across. You got a 1 touch to settle for Diaz, excuse me, that was Diaz with the goal. 1 touch to settle, another touch to finish into the opposite corner.
Less than 25 seconds into the second half, and Seattle already had the ball in the net. It is 3-1. Now what will the response be from the crew? Talk about momentum. Everybody talks about how it changes when you give up a goal right at the end of a half. Well, how about when you concede right at the beginning of the restart?
Well, that's where you come out just on fire, and you know a lot of the first half, Seattle was going a lot towards the left and playing across to the right, and then to start the second half, they went up the right, had Sereno there, cuts it across back to Diaz, who was open in that little pocket of space, touch to settle, touch to finish, and as it goes by Hansen, he kind of just looks and sees, oh, I got beat, because he went to come out to try to go left, and Diaz just hit him on the opposite side and beat him.
Well, there's some breathing room for Seattle. 3-1. 3 different goal scorers as well. How about 18 goals in just over 3.5 games for this Sounders side that just can't stop scoring? Came into the playoffs having already scored 115 goals for the best offense in the Development Academy. The second best team had 15 fewer goals.
Unbelievable the scoring power that Seattle has, and again, you haven't even seen Alfonso Ocampo Chavez yet, who we already know can score as well, and he had a hat trick in the last game coming into this, and he's a U.S. national team call-up with the 17s, and he's another player that if he checks into the game, that's another scoring threat that the Seattle Sounders have.
Well, what will the response be from the crew? It's been good so far. Now they have to claw their way back into the match once again. As Horton wins a free kick up top.
You look there, Malone was able to get the height just as he had the ball, went over Horton, literally flew over Horton, and that's where the crew were looking for the foul and were able to get it.
It's a Crew Academy that has signed 11 homegrown players to the MLS side. 5 of them have appeared for Crew SC in an MLS regular season match. Heading into 2018, a homegrown player had appeared on the game day roster for every game except for one over the last 3 seasons. So this one flighted into the back post and skying but unable to reach it was Coons. So it'll go out for a Seattle goal kick. But both of these clubs so good at producing players for the next level. And you can see that not only with the players Seattle already signed to the MLS side, but all those players that are playing for their USL side as well in S2. And a lot of these players out here have played for S2 in the USL this season.
I mean, there's a couple players that aren't here currently, but even still, they've got quite a few with the S2s that have been signed either as of last year and this year as well, and contributing there. And as we mentioned, players being pulled up as well to the other older national teams, or excuse me, not the national teams, the older
age
development
groups,
games. Yeah, exactly. And that's where the Development Academy has been really pushing for, that if you're doing very well at your own age group, let's challenge you a bit more. Let's pull you up to the next age group. How well do you do in that situation? And just looking to push the boundaries further and further to really develop these players.
Horton shows his strength. Still going Horton. Look at the way they hunt in packs to win the ball back. Seattle, 3 white jerseys rather converging on Horton.
Both teams have done a really good job with getting numbers behind the ball or around the ball whenever they can. Columbus, especially in the beginning of the game, is doing a very good job of that, and we're looking to see, can they do that again?
Sprayed over the near side for Bigby. Bigby looking for the early cross. Now he wants to run. Has Chifamba in support. He'll tease it into the area. It's not a bad ball from Chifamba. Shielded off by Berhalter. Find Lemkool. Berhalter. Lemkool continued his run. Lemkool to hoist it in. And it'll be a goal kick. Not the final product he wanted, but it was a great run by Lemkool to put himself in that situation.
It was a great little 1-2 combination with Lemko and Berhalter. It's just Lemko really put a lot of power behind that ball, and with the wind coming across the field like that, just took off and ran away.
Wind beginning to pick up again in Oceanside. 3-1, the Seattle Sounders lead. Scoring 22 seconds after the restart to pad their lead that they had at the break. Serrano, Vargas, and Diaz all on the score sheet today. And all of them have already scored multiple times in these playoffs. Berhalter brings it down.
Here we go. Move it up. That away, that away, that away.
Oh, good skill from Wampler. Inside for Berhalter. That's a lovely weighted ball over the far side. Stabbed out of bounds. It'll be the first corner kick of the half for Crew SC, their 4th of the match.
A great ball there by Berhalter, trying to spin it out wide for Wolf coming on in. And you saw with Seattle, just have to kick it away at that point because you got Wolf on your back and ready to hunt that ball down.
Here we go right here, right now. Crew, rush in, rush in.
This ball has to be kept a bit lower, else it'll catch in the wind. It's a really good ball drilled in, but getting it off the flick on is the keeper.
And Wampler there looking, just trying to get a flick on, maybe going further back to beat Haraka, but Haraka was able to read that play and secure the ball and try to do a quick transition now in the other direction.
And this will be a free kick. Serrano was held up. Serrano wanted to play it quickly, now he'll hold off. And it's Robles who settles over it. He does get it off quickly. Serrano cuts inside. And a good defending by Bigby. He's looking forward for Tyler Wolf, but it's sent back the other way by Montana. Chifamba and Hall will win it back for the Crew. Long forward ball looking for Wolf. It's Bernie who gets it and will go the other way.
Here we go now, here we go. Rush it in, rush it in, rush it in, Tyler. Get on it, get on it.
This is Bernie. Played into the path of Wampler. He'll chase it down to this near side. This is Wampler. Still going Wampler. It's Bernie draped all over him. And Bernie will be whistled for the foul. Free kick for the Crew right on the edge of the box.
Great little ball played into Wampler, and Wampler trying to go end line, able to use his body to shield off and force Seattle to commit a foul. And now they're in prime position with this free kick, similar to a corner situation. Now it's a matter of, are they able to get numbers behind the ball? And if they can get it to Horton, can Horton get that separation so he can be able to head it clearly like he did with his first goal of the game?
And just the ability to hold on to that ball and shield it. It was good advantage played by the referee too. Waited for him to lose that ball before he brought it back for the foul, just in case Wampler could find an opening.
That, and you had Chifamba sitting behind looking as that back pass option if he was able to clear that out.
Berhalter swings it in. It's so close to the second goal, it will be a corner kick. The question is the double substitution that both teams are preparing going to come on before this set piece or after? Samways and Sarver are getting ready to check in for the Crew, as that header wasn't far off.
There, it looked like they were trying to catch Seattle off guard with a quick restart. I believe it was Wampler that was able to get a head on it, just a little too wide.
So Noah Hall is off. He'll be replaced by Anthony Samways. Oh, correction, it was Bigby who's coming off. So Samways comes on for Bigby. And Wampler will come off to be replaced by Samuel Sarver, the U-15 international playing up. Meanwhile, for Seattle, Alfonso Ocampo Chavez has come in. Robles has come out. Alec Diaz has also been replaced. As the first look of the day at Alfonso Ocampo Chavez. U-17 International was at the last U-17 camp held in January. Had 4 goals against Pareadores, as well as a goal against Sporting Kansas City, Alfonso Ocampo Chavez.
Say that, and Ocampo Chavez as well as...
The chance is on, and it's skied over from Vargas. Oh, how quickly Seattle can turn defense into attack.
That and just catching the team off guard with a quick restart. Comes on in. Little layoff there. Again, playing it there. Vargas coming in unmarked, just looked like he was leaning back a little bit too high, and that ball just took off behind him. And a great overlapping run you see from behind the ball, thinking 2 passes ahead, making that run into that space. Again, just unfortunate for him that he was just leaning a little too far back on that shot.
Noah Hall's pass intercepted. Atencio wins it back for Seattle. Drought has gotten forward to great effect for the Seattle Sounders. Malone.
Oh, here we go, here we go. Come on, crew, get on him, get on him.
Far side for Serrano. Berhalter gets it outside. This is Samway's first touch, as is Sarvers. Sarvers was unable to step inside of Montana. And Kingston will get it back. Inside for Zeriel Gonzalez, U.S. Youth National Team regular, who's already signed to S2. The number 38 was the second player to come in alongside Alfonso Ocampo Chavez.
Gonzalez as well, I believe, was the youngest player in their history to be signed at 16 years old with Seattle S2.
Samways clears. Oh, that's a good run from Serrano. He'll leave it off for Vargas. Back into Serrano. He goes down. No foul, says the referee, and we go the other way. Sent right back in. This is a free kick for the Seattle Sounders. Quickly taken. Atencio tried to thread it through.
They looked at just a little bit of a misread where he thought he was going out instead of cutting in. It's a good idea, though. It just looks like they were just on the wrong page there on that combination.
Well, Gonzalez stepped on the ball, but it's won back in midfield by Atencio. Drilled in the feet of Ocampo Chavez. Leaves it off for Vargas. This is Vargas once again. Still Vargas. He has a rip, and it's pushed around the post by Hansen at full stretch.
Vargas there again showing off his footwork. It looked like a great little scissor cut to the outside of his left, and with that shot, Hansen making the diving save. Great save by Hansen to push that ball away and out of danger. And here he is again. It was just a little step, my bad. Just a little step, misdirection, cuts it back off to his left, and with that shot, Hansen being able to read it very well, gets his hands behind it with the diving save.
Well, the referee keeping Gonzalez from getting there first, but somehow he's able to get on the end of it. Space at the top of the box, going for the curler. It's too close to the keeper. On the hour mark in Oceanside, 3-1 Seattle Sounders lead Columbus Crew. 30 minutes away from going to Kansas City in the semifinals of the U-16-17 U.S. Soccer Development Academy Championship.
Bring it up now. now, bring it up.
This is Berhalter. Lovely ball for Samways on the near side. Inside for Sarver. Sarver was the hero against FC Dallas. Stoppage time goal to put the #1 overall seed and regular season champions to the sword.
And as we mentioned, Sarver is averaging a goal a game, where he scored 3 goals in the 3 games that he's made an appearance coming off the bench.
That's why you bring a player like that off the bench against tired defensive legs. Especially when you talk about the firepower that the Crew already have up top.
That and both teams with their possession style really forces teams to chase at time when they're trying to play high pressure. With Seattle, especially with their type of style, it's how long can they keep that high pressure up, or how long can they be able to just let them switch the ball and keep their shape? Or can the Columbus Crew do a job of being able to catch them off guard and exploit that gap to go forward and hopefully hit either Horton or Sarver?
This will be the game's first yellow card, and it goes against the Ziriel Gonzalez.
Breeze play there, long ball in, just a push in the back.
Here we go, Crew. Here we go now.
I think there it would have been a call on the push in the back on the other side
Oh,
going
my
against
apologies,
the Union.
yeah. And it's going to be Marusik who gets the yellow card.
And I believe we saw earlier he did get that warning, so that's why he was able to get the yellow off that. Just another foul being committed, just push on the back, a little excessive there.
Well, I looked at the player that was right in front of the referee, and it was Ziriel Gonzalez, and so my apologies. Seattle pouring forward again. A great job getting back and slicing it clear by Noah Hall.
Hall with the great read, being able to get his body in position, reading the trajectory of that pass, getting around it and just clearing it out. It looks like he may have even gotten deflection, which is incredible there, that he was able to not only clear the ball, get the deflection out, and get the goal kick.
Robles. Gonzalez slides it through. Good job by Hansen to force it out wide and get a touch on the cross.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Hansen made a lot of saves. You said the last time we saw him against FC Dallas, and there it is again, being able to disrupt the play, not giving Vargas that opportunity to get another goal in today's match.
That's a good ball. Slipped into the channel, but it's well defended. Hansen will get it back out for Samways. This is Sarver. Space for Tyler Wolf. Jafamba. Free kick. Jafamba gets it out wide quickly. Hall has room to gallop forward. Inside for Wolf. Lemcool. Berhalter. Lemcool. Thought about the early service in the box, instead keeps it on the floor. And this is Hall. Hall to the end line, his cross is blocked. It will be a throw for the Crew in the 65th minute. Played in and a stooping header clear before Horton could get on the end of it. And it's the Sounders to go the other way. Long ball for Ocampo Chavez. Makes his way into the corner, gets around Coons. And Coons is able to recover. Good defending and skill from Coons along that end line to get it out wide.
Great positioning by Coons and as well using his body and his size advantage there to just get that separation so he can get a touch behind the ball and to clear it out. Although Seattle, again, getting numbers behind that ball and great reading on their part.
The space is opened up. This is Vargas. Still going Vargas. This time he's shielded off the ball by Marusik. Goal kick for Crew SC.
Again, solid defending from Columbus, forcing the mistake, letting that ball go out of play. Now it's a matter of can Columbus, when they win the ball, keep that possession and not only just get down the flanks, but can they get that ball back into the middle so they can create some good goal-scoring opportunities. Now with the 3-1 difference, they really need to look on can they get that ball into the back of the net and regain the momentum. And not only that, but give their team confidence, which is something their coaching staff at halftime was telling them, that you have to be confident. We need to be positive and be confident in ourselves. You beat the #1 team, you can beat the #2 team as well.
Seattle Sounders were the Northwest Division champions with a record of 27-3-3 heading into these playoffs. Only FC Dallas had a better record in the Development Academy in their Frontier Division. Samways, back for Coons. Chifamba gets a touch, as does Lemkool, and he gets it back. Berhalter has room to run. Outweight for Hall. Hall can't get around Drought, but it will be a corner kick for Columbus, their 6th of the game.
It was great separation there from the defense, just playing it back and forth till that gap in the middle was there wide open for Berhalter. Berhalter turning and going, penetrating forward and looking for that ball wide. It looked like maybe have been Sarver on that play with trying to go to goal, or it could have been Wolf as well, just trying to get in, and now they've got the corner again.
Be another corner kick for Berhalter. It's another good ball in, the keeper's missed it. Top of the box for Wolf, and his shot was right down the goalkeeper's corridor.
Great little 1-2 combo back out, dumped it off for Wolf, but Wolf just playing it right into the keeper's chest there. There's a replay of the corner going across, beats Haraka initially, but that kick back in from Wolf went right into Haraka. There it is again, over the top, gets over the hands of the outstretch of Haraka. Again, Wolf was in the right position, just couldn't get the ball he wanted.
Ocampo Chavez in the box. Atencio arriving. He floats it to the back post and played across, and not a bad idea, but there's nobody making that diagonal run to the top corner of the 6. However, the ball will remain with the Sounders. Atencio. Montana. Atencio. Get the feeling Atencio wants to hit one of these, but he's just thinking better of it. This is Atencio again. Lovely ball into the corner. Drought walking the end line, pulls it back. And just too many crew defenders in the way. Is this one clipped out for Hall, or Horton rather. Horton will hold it up. Chifamba. Get it back to Hansen. Good burst of speed to step forward by Coons. Chifamba swings it out wide for Hall. Hall's looking for options.
Go, 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 Tyler, go.
Is it over the line? Maloney.
Get him!
Parker Kingston gets it out wide. And that'll be a free kick. It could very well be a yellow card as well.
To this point, it looks like it was Marusik, and he's already, I believe, on a yellow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's what the referee's telling him. As if he wasn't already on a yellow, he'd be going into the book.
There, he's just trying to poke that ball away to not allow Ocampo to be able to explode out into that space behind. You saw he only had 1 or 2 other players back there as it was a transition into the other way, and you're starting to see the tired legs of Columbus come out with that transition from defense, or from offense to defense, excuse me. You saw the numbers were not getting back quick enough. So at that point, Marusik probably was thinking, let me just stop the ball and slow things down so my team can get back.
Look at him, crew.
So it'll be a free kick for the Sounders. The center backs are forward. Just unable to keep it in bounds. It was a good effort though. And Seattle getting ready to flick the switch on another substitution. And Marlon Vargas comes out, and he'll be replaced by Daniel Leyva. He's making his 4th consecutive substitution appearance, Leyva. He's up from the 15s, where he has 10 goals this season. And is a U-16 international for the U.S. Leyva. Vargas has had a tremendous match here. Had the 2nd goal as well for the Sounders, Vargas. And now it's Leyva's turn.
I mean, Danny Leyva was recently just called up to the men's U-16 men's national team squad.
And unable to beat Hansen at his near post.
And my apologies for catching you off there, but Leyva was called up recently to the U-16 men's national team squad for this past June. They had the training camp there, and he's another player that can be dangerous off the bench and really get involved into the attack.
He has 1 goal at the 16-17 level, 10 goals in 15 appearances for the U-15s, Leyva. Chifamba gets it back on the free kick.
It kind of shows with Seattle right now, their mindset is still, how many more goals can we score? Can we still be a presence up top? And they're trusting their back line to say, I know you're solid, I know you guys are fit, and are able to hold off this crew attack. And instead, let's replace and get fresh legs up top instead.
Wolf turns. Out wide for Hall. Hall looking to get to the end line. And coming over in cover was Peter Kingston. It will be a throw-in, but there will be another substitution for the crew. And it's Marusik who's coming off. And he'll be replaced by David Beattie. Beattie making his 18th appearance of the season since joining from internationals. So Beattie is on, and the man with the yellow card has been replaced. Good game for Marusik. This one popped in over the head of Sarver. And Seattle have a chance to get this clear.
Marusik did a great job of really just creating havoc for Vargas sometimes. You know, when Vargas is getting in, he's able to just step in and just disrupt the play and make it a little bit more difficult. He's done a great job of shutting down Vargas a lot in the second half, as we've seen, but with the yellow card and getting another warning, it's a smart decision by the crew staff to take him off and not risk having to play with 10 men for the rest of this game.
That was Beattie's first touch as he gets it out wide to Hall. This is Chifamba. Chifamba's been so impressive in keeping possession for the crew in midfield. Berhalter spinning, trying to play it over the top, but it was well read by Bernie.
It's the right idea there, just trying to spin it out and find that gap. Running on, or Horton making that run in, just looked like, again, it spun just a little bit too much.
Another cross from Hall, and was out before Sarver could get to it. So it'll be a goal kick for the Sounders in the 75th minute. This one of 625 total games played here at the U.S. Soccer Development Academy playoffs and showcase for both the boys and the girls, beginning last week and going till the end of this week. 400 teams comprised of just under 7,000 athletes descending on Oceanside during these 2 weeks. Drought. Spinning along the end line, but he's out of bounds, so it'll be a goal kick for Hansen. Seattle 15 minutes from the semifinals, as that's a foul at the top of the box. And it's going to be a yellow card as well for Berhalter.
As again, you hear the team just looking to press, and they talk about how Seattle likes to play that high pressure. They're already up 3-1, and they're still trying to make sure that they're winning that ball as early as possible and getting into the attack. And now here's another dangerous piece or set piece opportunity for Seattle to put this up to 4-1 possibly.
Peter Kingston's over it. Nobody else in the vicinity, so we know what the result is in terms of the taker. So there's another look, and Berhalter did get the foot in late. Kingston has 6 goals this season. It's Kingston, punched away by Hansen.
Another beautiful save by Hansen, diving, outstretched, punching that ball away, not allowing Kingston to get another goal.
Now Kingston coming over to take the corner. It'll be an outswinger from the Tukwila native. Able to bounce in the box. Malone got a head on it. Chifamba with the bicycle clearance. Sarver looking to hold it up for Crew. And it's Horton who comes away with it. Gets it back. Beatty will slide it across for Coons. Out wide for Samways. Samways and Berhalter bulldozing their way down the flank, and they'll win a free kick.
Come on, crew, come on now!
Berhalter. Chifamba. Long searching ball for Samways, who's up from the outside back position. Good strength by Samways, and he'll win the free kick. Still life in the Crew yet.
But for them, there's still plenty of time that they could easily get 2 more goals to tie it up, and that's all they're looking to do at this point. Can they get at least 1? Because once they get 1, that's a lot of pressure now in Seattle, where they had a 3-1 lead and they're giving up another goal.
So it's Berhalter who will tease it into the mix. It's not a bad ball. Seattle able to get it clear. There'll be another thrown for the Crew in the 79th minute. Quickly taken to Samways. That's good work from Lemkool, but it's won back by Levy. Samways intervenes. Berhalter. Berhalter spins. Has it poked away from him. And this will be a free kick for Seattle.
And just to get another push in the back there by Beatty, trying to slow the play down.
Ocampo Chavez slow to get up, but he looks to be all right. Ocampo Chavez had 4 goals in the 5-1 victory over Pateadores on match day 3. As Drought getting forward dangerously again, and he wins a corner kick for Seattle, their second of the half.
Get it out of there, crew, get it out of there!
Corner swung in. This is going to stay in bounds. Ocampo Chavez. Levy. Back for Montana. Atencio. Over the top, neatly brought down on the chest. Ocampo Chavez tried to slide it inside for Gonzalez. Good job by Gonzalez to not allow the crew to get off the early clearance. And still they try and get out of their own box. Now they will. Good movement to the far side to open things up.
Bring it up, bring it up.
Wolf tried to let it run, but Drought was there.
It's a great work by the Columbus defense to be able, under that high pressure, to switch the ball into the opposite side. And then even though you say, hey, Drought was able to get a touch on it, they were still able to win it back and try to build up once again.
That'll be a free kick for Seattle. Just under 9 minutes remaining. 3-1 Seattle lead. It was 2-1 when Seattle kicked off to start the second half, but they had the ball in the back of the crew net just 23 seconds later, as this will be offside against Gonzalez. Good work by Sarah Cortez out of Cal North. Berhalter. Samways.
Great tackle there by Gonzalez to disrupt that play, and now they've got the throw in.
It would be a throw in for Enrique Montana. His 36th appearance of the season today, Montana. And this is Gonzalez. Slipped, but was able to get back on the ball and play it off of Berhalter for another throw in, and that suits Seattle just fine.
At this point, they're going to take their time every time the ball goes out, walk to it, bring it back in slow, just try to waste as much time as they can.
Well, Montana hasn't ventured forward as much as Drought on the other side, but he's been very solid today as a stay-at-home defender. So this is Drought stepping inside. Now he'll lay it off into the corner. The cross comes in. Ocampo Chavez.
You saw there, now that Giannis has stepped out, Serrano has switched over to that far left side. And you're seeing Ocampo Chavez is floating around near the top, trying to get a body on it. And now with him coming in, Leva's now in too as well. He's kind of hanging out more at that top right, number 9 spot. And then you see Ocampo Chavez kind of floating over to the right side now.
Nick Scott has come in, as has Ethan O'Brien. Nick Scott out of Fairview, Pennsylvania, making his 15th appearance of the season. Ethan O'Brien, who had the game-winning goal against the Chargers to take the crew through to this quarterfinal, comes on for his 12th appearance. This will be Crew's ball.
Come on, crew, come on, crew.
The crew will have another throw in about 10 yards further up. Samways will take the throw in the 85th minute. Seattle has done such a great job of not allowing the crew to get forward in these last 5-10 minutes. And they win another free kick. High pressure continuing to pay dividends for the Sounders late in this one.
That, and you see the crew now is trying to do anything they can to re-get the ball back, and now they just have to be careful though that they don't put themselves in situations where they start accumulating more yellows because of silly fouls.
Take a look at that last foul. There was a tug of the jersey from Chifamba.
That, and then you see Lemkool coming in a little bit late, where you not really too necessary, as there's already being a foul called by Chifamba with the pull in the jersey there.
And there's one thing I think about though. Slow motion always make things look so much worse.
Agreed. In any sport, they always look so much worse in slow-mo, but That's where, again, you see the ref giving a talking to Lemcool with the late challenge there after the play was already whistled dead.
Into the box goes Leyva. Leyva trying to spin. Chifamba took it off of his foot. Ocampo Chavez's shot was blocked. Peter Kingston. Atencio. One of the many players out on this field who has represented the U.S. at youth national team level. One back by Scott. A correction, O'Brien. And then a heavy challenge from Drought, who's saying, I got all ball. Chifamba wins the free kick in midfield. It's been a good performance from referee Matthew Thompson. Can't think of any instances today where we've really questioned any of his decisions.
I'd say it's been a very good referee game, as you said, and we've had some other games in the past where you see players start to get really hot-headed and almost feels like it's getting out of control. Well, here in this game, it's been very controlled, and even though there is going to be high emotions, of course, it hasn't been too crazy.
Azira Gonzalez plays it over the top. And that pass over seasoned as it goes all the way through for Hansen. Chifamba. Played it behind Scott on the far side. So it'll be a throw-in for the Sounders as we head into the final 3 minutes. Coming up next, we have another U-16-17 boys quarterfinal for you as Atlanta United takes on Weston FC. That one coming up at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Seattle looking to see this game out. And now you're in those last few minutes where you can just take the ball into the corner.
So at this point for Seattle, it might as well just get it down there, make it as hard as possible for Columbus that when they do win the ball, they have to travel 80, 90 plus yards to get it to the other side.
Berhalter brings it down in his own box. Able to spin away from the attention of Leyva, launches it forward. It goes out of bounds before it reaches Sarver. What a season Sarver's had. Was sensational for the U-15, scoring 22 goals in 17 games before being pulled up to the U-16-17 side. Scored that big goal against FC Dallas in stoppage time for the 1-0 victory on match day 1. And then scored again in the 3-3 draw against the Galaxy, as well as the 2-1 win against the Chargers. Sarver, like so many of these players out here, has a real bright future.
So they're trying to go for that quick counter, try to catch him off guard. And you hear the crew, coaching staff yelling, get up, get up, get up, along with the ball. But again, I think at this point you're just seeing these players are getting tired as they've been chasing a lot throughout this game due to the possession style that Seattle has.
Atencio flicks it forward, and Coons will shield it off for Hansen. Oh, it's been so fun to watch the crew play it out of the back. Even under tight pressure, they've been able to string a few quick passes together and then find the outlet ball to the other side and go forward. That's not easy to do against the Seattle Sounders team, which pressures so well.
Oh, agree that these guys have been doing a phenomenal job of staying composed and trying to build out when they can. It's just a matter of, with these guys, can they make sure that they don't cause a mistake, right? Because they're pushing so high up, and they're doing a great job of, especially what I've been most impressed, when they receive the ball and they're taking a touch, they're recognizing where to take that first touch, whether it's going wide to find space, or can they take a penetrating touch forward because they notice that high pressure's coming in and they notice they can't slow down quick enough.
Berhalter. What a ball from Berhalter. 70, 80 yards right onto the boot of Scott on the far side. Inside for Sarver. Little touchback for Scott. Seattle smashed it the other way, and now it's Ocampo Chavez versus Coons. And Ocampo Chavez wins out, but Coons will retrieve the loose ball. And now a double substitution for the Seattle Sounders as we've hit the 90th minute mark. And it's Kingston's number who's up. He's done such a good job as one of the two holding midfielders in the 4-2-3-1 for the Seattle Sounders. Such a big reason why Seattle has so many creative players who are able to roam Kingston.
See, he holds down his position so well, and that allows, for example, Atencio to be able to push up a bit more and be creative, as you mentioned. And Kingston, you don't really see him a lot, and it's because he's doing his job so well, you almost forget he's there, and that's how you know that he's playing that role just as he's intended to, almost as if he's not there.
Soto Kitahara and Bryson Hankins have checked in for the Sounders. Kitahara, a U-16 international who's up from the U-15s. And Bryson Hankins, who joined this season from the Central California Aztecs, makes his 30th appearance of the year. So we're into stoppage time. 1 minute and 20 seconds have elapsed. Seattle can get ready to, well, you used to say get on the phone. I guess nowadays you get on the internet to book the ticket to Kansas City for championship weekend, which will be held July 8th through 10th. The semifinals on the 8th, the championship on the 10th. Popped over, Ocampo Chavez, cushioned header down. He'll get it back, helps it on. And Hansen was bumped into, so it will not count. The Seattle Sounders are going to Kansas City as they make their way into the semifinals with a 3-1 win over the Columbus Crew. Final thoughts, Danielle D'Avanzo.
Seattle played a very, very strong possessive game. They had lots of energy, and even as the game wore on, they still kept that high tempo, and players coming off the bench and bringing that energy, not having anything let down, was extremely fun and a pleasure to watch.
Well, that will do it for the first of 2 feature games for us today. A reminder, coming up shortly, it's Atlanta United taking on Weston FC with another spot in the semifinals on the line. But for now, for our producers, Scott Cheney and Alex Bousset, and for Danielle D'Avanzo, I'm Mark Serber saying so long from Oceanside, where it finishes Seattle Sounders 3, Columbus Crew 1, Seattle Sounders into the semifinals.